Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea. Dear listeners, now we start the English language service of Voice of Korea from Pyongyang, the capital of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Here is the Mixed Colors, Song of General Kim Il-sung. for your mail, Karas. Song of General Kim Jong-il. This is VOK, Voice of Korea News Now.
The fifth plenary meeting of the 7th Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea was held in the building of the headquarters of the Party Central Committee between December 28th and 31st, 108 or 2019. Chairman of the Workers' Party of Korea, Kim Jong-un, guided the plenary meeting. Present at the meeting were members and alternate members of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea and members of the Central Auditing Commission of the party. Also on hand as observers were officials of the Party Central Committee, officials of the ministries and national agencies, chairpersons of the provincial people's committees, chairpersons of the provincial rural economic committees, chairpersons of the city and county party committees, and officials of major fields and units and armed forces organs. Chairman Kim Jong-un presided over the plenary meeting upon the authorization of the political year of the Party Central Committee. The following agenda items were brought up in the plenary meeting. 1. On the direction of our immediate struggle under the prevailing situation at men abroad. 2. On the organizational issue. 3. On amending and supplementing the collection of slogans of the Party Central Committee. 4. On grandly commemorating the 75th founding anniversary of the Workers' Party of Korea. The plenary meeting discussed the first agenda item. Chairman Kim Jong-un made a historic report on the first agenda item. He said the past 8 months passed since the fourth plenary meeting of the 7th Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea were a continuation of the very powerful struggle and dynamic advance, and continued. During the period, our party has established and maintained the correct domestic and foreign political lines, always putting stress on the urgent demand and interests of our people and the sovereignty and security of the state, and waged a steady struggle to implement them. Chairman Kim Jong-un put forward a revolutionary line on making frontal breakthrough operations in keeping with the demand of the present situation and the developing revolution. Appreciating that our own force with self-reliance and self-development as the motive force has been further strengthened in the tense struggle to implement the decision of the fourth plenary meeting of the Seventh Party Central Committee, he points out that our state and people have greatly demonstrated the daring spirit of making a progress and leap forward despite the difficulties and the tremendous potentialities in response to the appeal of the party on bringing about a great upsurge in socialist construction, holding higher the banner of self-reliance. He said, "The challenges we have faced for the past few months were harsh and dangerous ones that others would not have stood even a day. However, no hardships could stop or delay the dash of the Korean people advancing undauntedly, forming a solid integral whole. But gigantic achievements were constantly made in bolstering up the strength of the state and the defense capability." Chairman Kim Jong-un also said some successes have been achieved in the economic construction as well. Analyzing the trend of the present prevailing situation, he made it clear that the real intention of the United States is to seek after its political and diplomatic profits while tossing about under the signboard of dialogue and negotiations, and at the same time to keep applying sanctions to gradually exhaust and weaken our strength. And he stressed that we made a firmer resolve not to part for the security and dignity of our state and the future security for anything. Chairman Kim Jong-un said, as the United States is taking a gangster-like attitude, forcing a demand against the fundamental interests of our state, the deadlock between the DPRK and the United States inevitably has to take on a protracted character. We'll never allow the disgraceful United States to use the DPRK-US dialogue for dishonest purpose, but go over to a shocking real action to make it completely pay for the sufferings our people have so far undergone and the deterred development. Without hard life and struggle, it is impossible to win a great victory. Victory of revolution is inevitable, but it cannot be achieved without any obstacle and hardship. The further we strengthen our own power, and the more wealth we create on the basis of self-reliance and self-sufficiency, the greater trouble the enemy will have, and the earlier the day of victory of socialism be brought so much. All the party organizations and officials should shoulder the important duty given by the times with pleasure and make frontal breakthrough operations to totally foil the sanctions and blockade of the enemy with the might of self-reliance. Let us overcome all the difficulties in the way of our advance through frontal breakthrough operations. This is the slogan of struggle the whole party and the entire people should hold today. The economy is the main front in today's frontal breakthrough operations, he said, and presented an urgent task of the economic sector at present to fully meet the demand for economic development and the people's living by readjusting the economic foundation of the country and mobilizing the possible productive potentiality. Chairman Kim Jong-un put forward important tasks to strengthen the economic work system and order. He presented innovative measures and specific ideas to readjust the overall structures to promote economic development and enhance the role of officials, and indicated realistic ways to push ahead with the work for improving the economic management on their basis. Chairman Kim Jong-un set forth concrete tasks for major industrial sectors of the national economy. He stressed the need to improve science, education, and public health. He underscored the need to conduct a vigorous movement for increased production and economy and raising quality, protect the ecological environment, and take thorough measures to prevent natural disasters. He also stressed the need to guarantee our grand frontal breakthrough operations politically and diplomatically and militarily. He advanced the important task to take offensive measures to reliably ensure the sovereignty and security of our state on the basis of making a deep analysis of the grave situation prevailing on the Korean Peninsula and the present structure of complicated international relations. He points out that over the past 70-odd years, the United States has defined our state as the enemy, axis of evil, and object of preemptive nuclear attack, and applied the most barbaric and inhumane sanctions and sustained nuclear threat against it. And owing to the U.S. hostile policy toward the DPRK, the situation of the Korean Peninsula becomes more dangerous and serious. He said, over the past 2 years alone, we have taken preemptive crucial measures of suspending nuclear tests and intercontinental ballistic rocket test firing and scrapping nuclear testing ground for building contacts between the DPRK and the United States. In those years, far from responding it with due measures, however, the United States conducted big and small joint military drills its president had promised to stop on tens of occasions, shipped latest war equipment into South Korea to threaten us militarily, and took measures of independent sanctions tens of times, proving to the world once again that there is no change in the ambition to suffocate our system. Under the condition, there is no need for us to be unilaterally confined to the commitment without any partner to implement anymore. It also pours cold water on the nuclear disarmament worldwide and our efforts for prevention of nuclear proliferation. As we have already clarified, the prevailing situation proves that we should foster our strength as much as possible so that the hostile forces cannot violate our sovereignty and security and thus defend ourselves. And this is the only way for us to go without let-up and without hesitation, though difficult. In this way, he made clear the Workers' Party of Korea's stand of policy toward the United States. Kim Jong-un also said it is the steadfast goal of defense upbuilding of our party to have an invincible military muscle nobody can challenge and keep strengthening it, and continued, we should make any forces stand not to use their arms against us. This is a pivotal plan and firm will of the defense upbuilding of the Workers' Party of Korea. We should more actively develop strategic weapons. Due to the gangster-like acts of the United States, there is no change at all in our external surroundings, either when we carve the road of simultaneous development of two fronts, or when we are waging a struggle to concentrate efforts on economic construction. But the hostile acts on nuclear threat and blackmail are still augmented. Under the condition, we cannot give up the future security, seeing the visible economic successes and welfare alone. Before long, the world will see a new strategic weapon to be possessed by the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Now that we have seen through the real intention of the United States, there is no need to frustrate expecting the United States to lift its sanctions. If the United States pursues its hostile policy toward the DPRK, the Korean Peninsula will not be denuclearized forever. We'll continue to vigorously make the essential and prerequisite strategic weapons for security of the state until the U.S. hostility toward the DPRK is cancelled and the durable and solid peace system established on the Korean Peninsula. We'll constantly and reliably keep the regular mobilized posture of powerful nuclear deterrence which can contain the nuclear threat of the United States and guarantee our long-term security. The width and depth of our strengthened deterrence will be coordinated according to the U.S. stand toward the DPRK in the future. It is a great success that we came to have the absolute weapons possessed by big powers. But it is a greater pleasure to see that promising talented scientists and technicians have grown in the cause. This is the success our party values all the more. The fields of defense scientific research and munitions industry should maintain the principle of self-reliance and success, and perfectly support the party's line on defense upbuilding with loyalty under the slogan of power and prosper, in order to hit the goals of all stages which have already been issued. Chairman Kim Jong-un proposed issues to intensify the struggle to sweep away the anti-socialist and non-socialist practices in the whole party, state and society, strengthen the work of the working people's organizations, and establish strong moral discipline in the whole society. He stressed the need to strengthen the party, the staff of the revolution, and extremely enhance its leadership ability. He said, "Our revolution is vigorously advancing, but the challenges of the hostile forces to it are tenacious, and the difficulties we are facing are great. For winning the final victory of the revolution and making our great people well off, our party has made the determination to wage an arduous and protracted struggle again. Our party will continue to deal a hard blow at the United States and the hostile forces following it. In the protracted, harsh environment unprecedented in history, our people have learned how to live with their own strength, how to defeat the enemy and overcome the difficulties, and how to defend their dignity and rights. It is our strong revolutionary faith to defend the dignity of the country and defeat imperialism through self-reliance-based prosperity, even by tightening our belts. When all of us continue to wage a vigorous struggle with indomitable revolutionary faith and fervent patriotism and in the indefatigable fighting spirit, the difficulties will be overcome, and we'll see the day of new victory when the song "We Are the Happiest in the World" becomes the real life of the entire people across the country," he confidently said, and ardently called upon all to vigorously open the route of advance of victory by becoming pioneers and standard-bearers in the present glorious struggle to make a frontal breakthrough of the great difficulties in the way of the revolution and realize the ambition and ideal of building a powerful socialist country. Written speeches on the first agenda item were made at the plenary meeting. The speakers expressed their great emotion and excitement of having a grand map of operations and blueprint of the Party Central Committee to open up a broad avenue for a new victory in building a powerful socialist country, and fully supported the outstanding frontal breakthrough idea, strategy and action program of Chairman Kim Jong-un on accomplishing the great cause of prosperity based on self-reliance at an early date by resolutely tiding over all sorts of challenges and difficulties in the way of advance of socialist construction. The plenary meeting made a profound and active study and discussion on the draft decision on the first agenda item, and then the decision was adopted with a unanimous approval. The decisions are as follows. First, we'll readjust the economic foundation of the country and mobilize possible productive potentiality, and thus fully meet the demand for the economic development and the people's living. Second, we'll attach importance to science and technology and improve education and public health, representing the socialist system. Third, we'll establish the state crisis control system to protect the ecological environment and cope with the natural disasters. Fourth, we'll guarantee victory of the frontal breakthrough operations with powerful political and diplomatic and military offensives. Fifth, we'll strengthen the struggle against anti-socialist and non-socialist practices, establish moral discipline, and conduct proper ideological education among the working people's organizations. Sixth, we'll strengthen the party, the staff of the revolution, and extremely enhance its leadership ability. Second, the officials, the leading personnel of the revolution, will make strenuous efforts to fulfill their responsibility and duty for the party, revolution, and people in the frontal breakthrough operations to bridge over the difficulties in the way of advance of socialist construction. Eighth, all levels of party organizations and political organs will do organizational and political work to implement the decision properly, and the Presidium of the Supreme People's Assembly, the Cabinet, and other organs concerned will take practical measures to thoroughly implement the tasks outlined in the decision. The plenary meeting dealt with the organizational issue, the second agenda item. Members and alternate members of the political bureau of the Party Central Committee were recalled and elected to fill vacancies. Vice chairman of the Party Central Committee were discharged and elected. Members and alternate members of the Party Central Committee were recalled and elected to fill vacancies. Chairman of the Inspection Commission of the Party Central Committee was elected, and its members were recalled and elected to fill vacancies. Directors of some departments of the Party Central Committee were discharged and appointed. First Deputy Department Directors of the Party Central Committee were appointed. Chairpersons of provincial party committees were discharged and appointed. Leading officials of state organs were discharged and appointed. The plenary meeting discussed and decided an issue on amending and supplementing the collection of slogans of the Party Central Committee as the third agenda item. It discussed an issue on grandly commemorating the 75th founding anniversary of the Workers' Party of Korea as the fourth agenda item before adopting a relevant decision. Concluding the plenary meeting, Chairman Kim Jong-un referred to the significance and importance of the plenary meeting in making a frontal breakthrough of the prevailing phase and developing the Korean Revolution to a fresh upsurge. And he stressed that the main idea and spirit of the fifth plenary meeting of the 7th Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea calls for making frontal breakthrough operations without waiting for the situation to be better with folded arms. In order to make revolution, the revolutionaries should accept the priceless trust of the people as the whole of their life, he said, and ardently called for becoming faithful and diligent servants of the people, working harder and harder for such wonderful people as ours. Chairman Kim Jong-un had a picture taken with the members of the central leadership organ of the party in the significant venue of the historic 5th plenary meeting of the 7th Party Central Committee. Following are the members and alternate members of the political bureau of the Party Central Committee elected to fill vacancies at the 5th plenary meeting of the 7th Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea. Lee Il-hwan, Lee Byung-chul, and Kim Do-kun were elected members of the political bureau of the Party Central Committee to fill vacancies. Kim Jong-kwan, Park Jong-chun, Kim Hyung-jun, Ho Chol-man, Lee Ho-rim, and Kim Il-chul were elected alternate members of the political bureau of the Party Central Committee to fill vacancies.
The respected Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un sent a photo basket to the Embassy of the Republic of Cuba in the DPRK on the occasion of the 61st anniversary of the victory of the Cuban Revolution. The photo basket was handed to the Cuban ambassador by an official concerned on December 30th, 108 or 2019. The respected Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un received a floral basket sent by Muhammadu Buhari, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the occasion of the New Year 109 or 2020. The floral basket was handed to an official concerned by the Nigerian Charge d'Affaires at Amsterdam in the DPRK on December 30th, 108 or 2019. Floral baskets came to the respected Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un from Sui Tung-won, Honorary Director of the Board of Directors of the Kim Il-sung Kim Jong-il Foundation, and Yuri Castro Romero, Secretary General of the Peru-Korea Institute of Culture and Friendship, on December 30th, on the occasion of the New Year 109 or 2020. Members of the UN Resident Coordinator Office and the missions of the United Nations Development Program, the United Nations Children's Fund, the United Nations Population Fund, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the World Food Program, and the World Health Organization in the DPRK laid floral baskets before the bronze statues of the great leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il on Nancy Hill and paid a tribute to them on Monday on the occasion of the New Year 109 or 2020. A meeting was held by officials and members of the Socialist Women's Union of Korea at the Hall of Women in Pyongyang on December the 30th, Juche 108 or 2019, to mark the 8th anniversary of the respected Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un's appointment as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Present there were Hong Chul-jin, Vice Chairman of the Pyongyang Municipal Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, officials of the Women's Union, and women's unionists in the city. The reporter and speaker said it is the greatest fortune of the Korean people and the great revolutionary event noteworthy in the history of the country that Kim Jong-un was appointed as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the DPRK in the crucial historic period for carrying forward the revolutionary course of Juche. They noted that he presented it as the general task for army building to model the whole army on Kim Il-sungism, Kim Jong-ilism, and train the People's Army as a death-defying corps, reliably defending the security of the country and happiness of the people, and as pioneer of socialist civilization with its energetic leadership, performing immortal exploits to shine in the history of Juche-based army building forever. Dancing parties of youth and students were held across the country on December 30th, Juche 108 or 2019, in celebration of the 8th anniversary of the respected Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un's appointment as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the DPRK. At the dancing grounds in the capital, including the plazas of the Monument to Party Founding, the Pyongyang Indoor Stadium, and the Arch of Triumph, youth and students danced to the tune of songs such as Glory to General Kim Jong-un, I Will Live Like a Star following the party, and Let's Support Our Supreme Commander with Arms. Similar dancing parties took place in different other parts of the country on the same day. The Gangwon Provincial Self-Reliance Exhibition House was newly built and inaugurated. Seen in the General Hall are a photo of the respected Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un giving field guidance to the Wonsan Army People Power Station, propositions of the great Kim Jong-il and Kim Jong-un, and video program showing the spirit of rapid implementation and working manner of the people in Gangwon Province. Displayed in several halls are thousands of products of over 670 kinds made and widely used in the production and construction by many units in the fields of power, metallurgical, building materials and chemical industries, agriculture, light industry, fisheries, and forestry in the province. The inaugural ceremony of the exhibition house was held on December 29th, Juche 108 or 2019. Workers and officials of the General Federation of Trade Unions of Korea made a study tour of the revolutionary battle sites in the area of Mount Baekdu between December 25th and the 30th, Juche 108 or 2019. They left Samjeon City and toured the Mupo Bivouac, the Sinsadong Revolutionary Battle Site, the Rimyungsu Revolutionary Site, the Gonsang and Songbong Bivouacs, and the Samjeon Revolutionary Battle Site. They held a meeting in front of the Samjeon Grand Monument on the 30th to pledge themselves to accomplish the revolutionary course of Juche that started in Mount Baekdu through generations under the guidance of the respected Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un. During the tour, they conducted various political and cultural activities, including poem reciting meeting and the revolutionary song carousing contest, and looked around different places of Samjeon City, which has been completely changed into an ideal city of the people. The DPRK Ministry of Foreign Affairs sent a floral basket to the Embassy of the Republic of Cuba on the occasion of the 61st anniversary of the victory of the Cuban Revolution. The floral basket was conveyed to the Cuban ambassador on December 30th, Juche 108 or 2019.
And that's the end of the news read by Lee Hyang-sim and Che Jong-nam. This is VOK, Voice of Korea.
Now you will listen to the female duet, To the End of the Earth.
The Democratic People's Republic of Korea is attaching importance to science and technology and speeding up the building of a powerful socialist country by dint of science and technology. It induces the scientists and technicians to work their brains and improve their ability with a determination to go ahead of the world and thus discharge their responsibility and role as pacemakers for the development of science and technology. The ceremony of awarding the February 16th Science and Technology Prize, the highest one of the country, is held in Korea every year. In 108 or 2019, too, many scientists, technicians, teachers, and officials who made a contribution to the development of science and technology of the country were awarded the February 16th Science and Technology Prize, and 5 persons, including Yu Chol-jun, department head of Kim Il-sung University, was selected as the best state scientists and technicians in 2018. Such awarding ceremony becomes an important occasion to extraordinarily increase the creative spirit of scientists and technicians. All the scientists and technicians have set high goals and devoted all their wisdom and enthusiasm to scientific researches for developing core technologies which are practical and of great economic significance. In early December, Creations for People were inaugurated in succession in Korea, giving a great pleasure to the people. Scientists who went to the spot actively created rational building methods and manufactured equipment necessary for speeding up the projects by their own efforts and technology. In this way, they successfully solved the technical issues arising in the whole process of the project, making a contribution to bringing earlier the day of completion. Amid the active scientific farming, more and more units and agricultural workers contributed to reaping a good harvest. Scientists made hundreds of valuable research findings. They bred new high-yield varieties suited to the geographical features of the country with a lot of mountains and limited crop area, and developed multi-nutritional agents for rice seedbed. Like this, the Korean scientists made great efforts to solve the scientific and technological problems badly needed for strengthening the independence and true character of the economy and improving the people's livelihood. Many ultra-modern technical goods were presented to national scientific presentations and exhibitions, including the National Scientific Presentation and Exhibition in the field of materials, and the 10th National Exhibition of University Scientific Research Findings held in September and November, drawing public attention. In this course, excellent achievements and experiences made in scientific researches were widely introduced and generalized. The scientific and technological achievements made in Korea in 108 or 2019 actively promote the building of a powerful socialist country. You've been listening to an account under the title, A Year Seen Through Science and Technology. This is Voice of Korea. Now you will appreciate the song, Ode to the Mother Party. All our victories start and shine bright in your bosom. You show only beautiful and rosy future for us. Your leadership of victory is so great to make this country more powerful. Oh, the great mother, the Workers' Party of Korea. With the invincible spirit, we are going to the future. Now here's a light music for piano. We pledge to dedicate our life. listeners, with this we conclude the English language service of Voice of Korea from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Voice of Korea presents its English language service for Europe between 15 and 16 hours UTC, between 18 and 19 hours UTC, between 21 and 22 hours UTC, and between 13 and 14 hours UTC on 7,570 kHz and 12,015 kHz. For North America, between 15 and 16 hours UTC and between 13 and 14 hours UTC on 9,435 kHz and 11,710 kHz. And for Northeast Asia, between 4 and 5 hours UTC and between 6 and 7 hours UTC on 7,220 kHz, 9,445 kHz, and 9,730 kHz. Goodbye, this is Pyongyang.